Welcome to this week's Forex Forecast. We will get right into the analysis here, looking at the US dollar index. The past week, the banks got rid of 998 long contracts, and they also got rid of 347 short contracts. Remember, if you do want that COT Report Spreadsheet, it is available for lifetime access on Patreon. Links in the description down below. Looking at the daily chart here of the DXY, you can see obviously pretty big red day here in the DXY, headed down towards that daily demand again at 101.789. Remember guys, we did not actually contact this demand here. We barely hit it. And I was saying as we were rallying up, I said it's still possible we do pull back into this demand and then rally up. It could also be a potential trap setup where, you know, we break this low, people want to draw the trend line, call it a downtrend, and then boom, all of a sudden demand takes over and we continue to rally up. I'm not saying that's going to happen 100%, but in my opinion, this is a decent daily demand zone and we could see a move from this area. So even if you are bearish to DXY, which is completely fine, I would definitely look to potentially take profits on any US dollar shorts as we come in contact with 101.789 at this daily area of demand on the DXY. Forecast for the Euro US dollar. The past week, the banks got rid of 2,700 long contracts and they also got rid of 514 short contracts. Looking at the weekly chart here, top-down perspective of the euro, we have clearly the overall momentum is to the upside. We have failed to really break this high so far, but we haven't really gone up there. But I am kind of expecting, if we do break this high, I think we're probably headed all the way up to here on the euro at about 1.15. That's a lot more long-term perspective if we continue to break up higher. But remember, guys, and looking at the daily chart here, we definitely have some supply to get through as well. Now, this daily supply, that's the opposite of the DXY. We've already broken it, but right now we have tested daily supply, so we could expect to see a move down from this supply zone. So until this supply is removed, I wouldn't even really consider getting long on the euro. Yes, we could get in long on day trading timeframes, but even on the 4-hour chart, if you look, we're just kind of basing out here overall. We're just going sideways, and we're either obviously going to break out to the upside or we're going to break out to the downside. So looking at the 4-hour chart here, yes, this is 4-hour supply. We could see a move off of it. But what I'd be more focused here on this 4-hour chart is to see what's going to happen. If we break above here, we'll have a 4-hour uptrend, and that's definitely a very bullish sign in the euro. If we break below on this 4-hour demand, that's definitely a sign we're probably going to head lower and we could potentially get in short. So really going to be focused on this 4-hour chart here to see, out of this range here, are we going to break to the upside or to the downside? And really after that, we can start to trade in either direction. So if we break to the upside, we could look for day trading longs. To the downside, we could look for day trading shorts. In the meantime, yes, you could look for potential quick little scalp trades off of this 4-hour supply on the euro. All right, on to the forecast for gold. But before we get into it here, if you want to follow my daily analysis throughout the week with my daily market breakdown, my daily chart analysis, and much more, check out the Diamond membership. Links are in the description down below. And you could also watch this new video I just posted, a look inside of the FX Telepath membership. And as always, go back, watch my weekly Forex forecast to see. And if you want, there's also on my Instagram, there's the trades highlights there where you can see a lot of the trades, from the daily market breakdown videos, which is pretty much the highlight of the membership. So check it out. Links are in the description down below to the Diamond membership, and we also have lifetime access available if you don't want to pay the monthly fee. So that is if you guys want to follow my daily analysis throughout the week. So onto the COT report for gold. The past week, the banks added 14,200 longs, and they also added 3,013 short contracts. Now, looking at the weekly chart of gold here, if you've been following my forecast for a while, all the way since back here, I've been waiting for this weekly demand at 1870. So in the meantime, yes, we could be day trading short down to 1870 because I think, if you guys are familiar with supply and demand, we understand that whenever a zone is formed, usually price will pull back to that zone. It acts almost as a magnet. So that's why I've been waiting for this zone to be hit and basically take a similar trade like I did off of this one back there. So in the meantime, that means, yes, we could actually short down to 1870. And then make sure you look to take profits around that area as well. If you look at a 4-hour chart, for potential shorts, I'm really not seeing a whole lot. Yes, the momentum is down, but really the only good supply zone is all the way back here at 1949. So it could be an area where we look for a potential short trade, or if we get a new 4-hour supply zone up here, we could potentially short that one as well. So day trading shorts are fine down to 1870, but be cautious because even on the 1-hour chart here, we have 1-hour demand at 1918. We could see small moves off of this zone here. So this could also be an area where if we break this 1-hour demand, you could have 1-hour supply here, and you could potentially take that 1-hour supply short. And remember, this is a zone that I would have on my charts for all the members. That's why you guys get my daily chart analysis in the membership as well. So as far as gold goes, I think day trading shorts down to 1870 is fine. And then at that point, once we actually hit the weekly demand, we could continue to look for longs to trade the overall momentum on the weekly chart on gold. All right, on to the forecast for the USDJPY. The past week, the banks added 8,745 longs, and they also added 3,695 shorts. Looking at a weekly chart here, we didn't quite hit this weekly supply yet. Couldn't quite get there, so I think this is really just a minor pullback to eventually push back up to 146.6 at that weekly supply. If you look at a daily chart here, things are a little bit more clear. We had supply above, couldn't quite hit it, but now we are pushing down. Obviously, very, very large red candle, very red day for the DXY. And if you look, we actually are pulling back into some sort of daily zone right here. It's not a zone that I'm going to draw as an official demand zone, but look, it is definitely a place where buying took place, so we definitely could see a move off of this zone. But I personally think the real demand is down here at 140.291. So the overall best pullback I'm looking for is down to this area, although look, I think it's possible that this area actually holds and we continue to push up from here. So really, in both of these daily demand zones, we could be looking for confirmation trades long on a 1-hour chart. And what is that going to look like? Well, we're basically just looking for confirmation by removing supply zones to get in long. And on the 4-hour chart, we actually have some potential 4-hour confirmation as well, where right here we have a 4-hour supply zone at 142.991. Now if we get this removed like this, we're left with new 4-hour demand. That would be your potential 4-hour confirmation trade. You could also use that 4-hour demand zone to look for little tiny day trades in there or scalps on day trading time frames. So as far as the USD yen goes, I am definitely bullish because if you look at the daily chart again, the overall trend is up. And this is just a pullback in the overall trend. So I wouldn't really just hop on the bear side just yet on the USDN. I get it, it's a large move down, but we need to at least break some of these demand zones first and get a pullback before we can even think about getting in short. So as long as the trend is up here on the daily chart on the yen, we need to continue to look for longs. All right, on to the GBPUSD forecast. The past week, the banks got rid of 7,921 longs, and they also got rid of 6,192 shorts. Looking at the weekly chart last week, I'm pretty sure I said something along the lines of we could pull back down to this weekly demand and then rally up. But if you look here, we had the minor pullback last week, and then this past week here, we had a pretty big green candle in the pound. And honestly, I'm not too surprised. I was pretty bullish the pound. Anyways, based on this overall, trend to the upside in the daily chart, especially when this daily demand zone basically came in control right now. But if you look at the daily chart, we are essentially right at the high here. So as far as the pound goes now, guys, I don't think trading it is the best idea unless we can get a pullback. But the problem with that is on the 1-hour chart, it's just a lot of whippy price action. But if we do get a pullback down to this demand at 1.274, we could see a move off of that 1-hour demand zone on the pound. But look, guys, with the trends up, profit margin on the weekly chart up to like 1.3, I think it's longs all the way here in the pound. We just need to wait for the appropriate pullbacks to fresh 1-hour or 4-hour demand zones as they are formed along the way up. All right, on to the USDCAD forecast. The past week, the banks got rid of 13,503 longs, and they also got rid of 6,129 short positions. Remember, on the weekly chart here, I was bullish USDCAD. I still am because this weekly demand is in control. We can definitely see a push to the upside on the USDCAD here. So how do we go about trading that? Well, if you look at a daily chart, something significant has happened. We broke not only 1, but 2 daily supply zones, which has left us with basically 1 and 2 daily demand zones. I'm pretty much going to ignore this one and focus mostly on this one at the extreme at 1.319. This one down here. This is an area where if we pull back into here, this could be a great area to look for 1-hour confirmation trades or day trading longs inside of that daily demand. So mark this daily demand zone out on your charts if you want. So I'll personally be looking for confirmation there on a 1-hour chart. Look at a 4-hour chart here. The overall trend is still up on the 4-hour chart. Yes, we broke demand, but the trend line is still holding. And if you look, we have supply right here at oops, I can't see, 1.335. And look, if you think we're gonna pull back down to that daily demand and then rally up, and maybe you want to catch this move down, well, what you would do in this situation is simply just wait for a pullback up to this 4-hour supply 1.335 and look for a confirmation trade short on a 15-minute or a 5-minute chart coming off of that 4-hour supply. So that's what I would be doing here on the USDCAD, but I am definitely more bullish. I just need to wait for daily demand to be coming in control so I can then look for longs. But like I said, in the meantime, we could continue to see downward pressure down to 1.319 where we can look for longs, but we could definitely look for day trading shorts down to there in the meantime. AUDUSD forecast. The past week, the banks added 4,945 longs, and they also added about 10,000 shorts. Looking at the daily chart here first, we have a daily supply zone in control. This supply zone is very, very low quality. Why? Well, because we barely had a move away. The best supply zone is really right here, and even right up here are the real best supply zones. So these are the ones where we could see bigger moves off of them. But I did call out the zone. I said, hey guys, we got to be cautious trading around that area. And obviously we did because we saw that price movement down. Now I think it's still possible we pull back down to this demand, but to me it's looking like nothing but strength here in the Aussie US dollar. So how do we actually go about trading the Aussie US dollar based on everything I just said? Well, real simple. If you are bearish off that daily supply still, that's fine. If we break this 1-hour demand here, leaving us with 1-hour supply, that would be your potential short trade like that. And if you are bullish, I think really just looking for longs anytime is really just a decent idea on day trading timeframes. And why? Well, also because monthly demand is in control. So we have a monthly, weekly demand zone in control. To the upside, yes, the overall trend is down, but we can continue to push up. So if you are bullish on the Aussie US dollar, I think it's just look for longs on day trading timeframes. I think that's fine on day trading timeframes only because the daily chart's sideways. We don't really have a trend, so we don't really want to just be buying 1-hour zones. So I think day trading longs here is what makes the most sense on the Aussie US dollar. Even though yes, the daily supply is in control, to me it is looking like it wants to break. But once we get up to this fresh daily supply at 0.675 up here, I think we need to take profits on longs. All right, on to USDCHF, the Swiss franc. The past week, the banks added 2,465 longs, and they added 4,007 shorts. Now, I pointed out this daily supply a couple weeks ago here, and we already reacted to the downside. So, in my opinion, it's all signs are pointing to the downside here on the USD Swiss. Even on the 4-hour chart, we have a 4-hour downtrend now, just confirmed today based on how I look at the trend. So in my opinion, guys, it's it's bearish pressure all the way here. So look, day trading shorts are certainly fine. As far as decent zones we could look at here, not a great 1-hour zone, but we do definitely have a 1-hour supply zone here. We could see some sort of reaction off that zone, but really just low odds in my opinion. So definitely trade with caution around that area at 0.89. But look, guys, with the trend to the downside here, it's shorts all the way. I don't care how you trade. If you trade supply and demand, support resistance, chart patterns, indicators, oscillators, whatever. Look, we have a 4-hour downtrend, momentum to the downside here. It's shorts all the way in my opinion. Look, I could be wrong. We could just see this thing rally up, but with supply and control, the overall momentum is down. 4-hour downtrend, shorts, supply is in control. We want to be looking for shorts. Last but not least, on to crude oil here. The past week, the banks got rid of 21,000 longs and they got rid of 24,000 shorts. Looking at the daily chart here, finally looking like we want to break above the downward trend line again in the daily chart. So what I'm hoping here is this is the final push up in oil, something like this. Hopefully that's what the next daily candle looks like, where we not only break supply, but the downward trend line as well. So I'm still bullish oil. We just need to prove it now. We have tested supply that's proven and a downward trend line right here. So we need to see that big explosive move up, and we'll have daily demand here that we can potentially look for longs in on crude oil. Now, in the meantime, how do we go about trading it? Look, like I said, I want to see all of that removed first. But if you want to jump the gun and you think, hey, I think it's actually going to break above, that's fine. It's just more aggressive. But if we pull back down to demand at 71.98, we could see a move off that demand. So that could be your confirmation zone right here on the 4-hour chart. And that's pretty much all I would look at here on oil. I don't think shorting it is a great idea. Look, if we break this 4-hour demand zone like this, that would be your potential short trade. But until then, I think we need to look for longs. But like I said, personally as a swing trader, I'm waiting for this daily to give me confirmation. I'm waiting for the daily confirmation. It could take a week or two, but that's fine. I'm just waiting for new daily demand to be formed here and then looking for a pullback down to that daily demand as a swing trader. But like I said, if you want to jump the gun, you think, hey, we are going to explode to the upside, that's completely fine. We have 4-hour demand here, 1-hour demand. Could look for day trading longs in any one of those zones. I hope you guys found this weekly Forex forecast helpful. If it did, I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe if you are new to the channel. And as always, check out the YouTube and Patreon membership if you want to get my daily chart analysis and much, much more.